U.S. and Chinese officials have agreed to a limited trade deal, halting the all-out tariff war between the world's two largest economies. President Trump removed the threat of new tariffs that were supposed to go into effect on Sunday, and he rolled back some others as well, but not all of them. Beijing made promises to purchase American agricultural goods. It's an event that investors have been waiting for, and while stocks rallied sharply yesterday on reports of an agreement, today they moved only slightly higher. But it was enough for a record close on the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added 3 points to 28,135. The NASDAQ was up 17, and the S&P 500 was up just slightly. Both countries spoke about the Phase 1 deal today, one offering up more details than the other. So we have two reports tonight. Eunice Yoon is in Beijing, but we begin tonight with Kayla Tausche at the White House.
After nearly 3 years of negotiating, President Trump today hailing the first phase of a China trade deal as phenomenal.
I say affectionately, the farmers are going to have to go out and buy much larger tractors because it means a lot of business, a tremendous amount of business.
The U.S. says China has agreed to about $40 billion in additional purchases of agricultural products over the next 2 years. China will buy another $150 billion of manufactured goods and energy. There are also provisions on forced technology transfer, intellectual property, and currency. In return, Chinese officials today said the U.S. committed to remove tariffs step by step. The rate on a round of tariffs that hit in September will be cut in half, and tariffs on toys and phones set for this weekend will be shelved. But the White House is keeping the rest of the tariffs as leverage.
Tariffs will largely remain at 25% on $250 billion, and we'll use them for future negotiations on the Phase 2 deal.
Ambassador Bob Lighthizer, the lead U.S. trade negotiator, told reporters he expects ministers, not leaders of the two countries, to sign the deal the first week of January in Washington. It will take effect 30 days after that. This process has seen many false starts before, as recently as October when President Trump touted a deal being reached before it was finished.
Really should believe it this time. This is a major development, large Phase 1 deal.
As for what happened the last 2 months, Lighthizer says the countries had made a notional agreement but needed time to work out the exact figures behind it. He hailed this deal as unprecedented. Even so, he said it would be wise to remain skeptical as to whether China can actually deliver. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Kayla Tausche in Washington.
The Chinese have agreed to a Phase 1 trade deal with the U.S. At a late-night Friday press briefing in Beijing, senior members of China's negotiating team said that reaching a deal would benefit China, the U.S., and the world. The key highlight was that the Chinese did not commit to a specific figure for purchases of U.S. goods, which was a key demand of the Trump administration. Instead, they said China would buy more goods without a doubt, but based on market needs. Other interesting points, the Chinese said the U.S. agreed to keep its promise to cancel tariffs step by step, some existing levies and future ones. And the minister stressed how both sides were making compromises and commitments to avoid having the deal appear unequal in the eyes of the Chinese public, with the U.S. imposing changes on China. It appears there's plenty of work left to do. The Chinese said that both sides still needed to finalize the text and take other steps before deciding when and where they would sign the deal. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Eunice Yoon in Beijing.